Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. I've got a nice balanced rack, no duplicates, but I don't think it's a bingo-y rack. X and U are non-bingo-y. So, can I get the X doubled? A 5-letter play beginning or ending in X? Yes, I can. Fantastic. I have QLEX for 44. Wow, all one-pointers. Pretty bingo-y. Apart from the U and the duplicate I. I'm not seeing a 7. Could there be an 8? Let me consider the available few floaters. Uranilic is with a Y, not an I. Nothing with the U. Gosh, U and L both duplicates. What about the E? I've got the un prefix, but the rest of the rack pretty grim. And the X, uniaxial is good. That doesn't use an R. So I'm not seeing a bingo with the available floaters. But this rack feels like there probably will be a bingo with some floater. But it's going to be difficult to score with only 1-point tiles. I guess I'll be looking at the X as a potential source of score. To sort this rack out, I'd certainly like to play off I and U. So I could play Linux in column 12. And opponent plays after nearly 6 minutes of thinking. Hug for 23. No new floaters, and they do block Linux. So what am I going to do? XU doesn't take any single letter. Can I extend XU to a double word square? Not that I can see. EH only takes an S after it. It takes an R in front of it. I could play Orlick for 8. And I'm quite minded to do so. I suspect there's not much between this and changing. And the risk, if I change, is that opponent plays a super tight play over QLEX, and then I've got nowhere to play. Orlick totally opens the board up because Hug takes hooks, E, S, and Y. Floaters in Orlick and the EH hook, so I'm going with this. Through an N, I would have Skinnier. I have Kieran's. That plays in row J and column 14. And Sinkier is the anagram of Kieran's. Great, just 5 points for opponent. Let's get this show on the road. So, Sinkier, column 14, opens row O for a triple. Kieran's puts a K next to a triple word square. I don't like either of those options. So, Kieran's in row J puts a K above the double word square. The O, which I think is preferable to the column 14 plays. Possibly not Sinkier. Okay, let me consider the floating A. Do I have an 8-letter bingo through that A? Kaiserin. Wow. Yeah, ooh, it stops 1 square short of column 15, but I don't think that's massively dangerous. It's a restrictive position for an S, and no big tile can go on that double word square. I am going with this. Well, bingo-y tiles, but my first thoughts are that this is not a bingo-y rack. I think it's the totality of LN, R, and T all together, plus the duplicate N, means that I don't think there is a bingo here. But through an A, which I've just blocked, I would have internal. Still 3 S's and a blank to come, which could go on column 15. I lead by 100. Kaiserin is also fairly blocky. K does take an O in front, but it's fairly hard to open the top left of the board. And the Sea of Culex is really taking out the whole of the left-hand side of the board. It really needs a row J bingo to open things up. So if the action can be contained within the top right, that's in my favour. So what am I going to do with this rack? Well, I don't really want to hang on to it. I wouldn't mind hanging on to ERT. Or even rent. So is there anywhere for Lin or Lin with double N? I could play Lin above the eye of Kaiserin. Only my E can go next to the R. Great. Opponents obstructs column 15 themselves. 18 points. So, do I have anything through AN? No, I don't. So, what am I going to do to sort this rack out? I have something quite nice. I have... Oh, I was going to play Lenti, but oil not good. So, something EL, and I do want to play off one of the N's. No, don't think I've got anything there. So, I don't have a 6-letter play, hooking hug. I don't have an O to go above the K. Wow, I played Kaiserin, or played Orlick to open the board up. And now I'm struggling to find anywhere to play. So I could do this. Intel for 17 points, not bad. Difficult to score well in column 15. There is a bingo lane there, but I'm taking out a really good bingo lane. I am wrecking the rack. 17 points is pretty decent with only 1 pointers. But am I missing something? Let me put this back. Do I have something through XU? It could begin EX. Probably would. So something like Exult. Gosh, if I had a G, I could have Exulting. Riff onto the F, but that keeps double N. I don't want to do that. Alu is good for future reference. There's the E of Kaiserin to play through. Well, what about this? Lent for 12 points. It's 5 fewer than the play in column 14, but this rack leave is pretty decent. Lent does take a G in front, but I don't really mind that. If opponents go into bingo, my preference is that they do so in the penultimate rows or columns so that I have access to triple word squares. And keeping I and N, if I draw a G, I may well be able to play in row B myself. I am going with this. And I do draw a G. I have wearing in row B. Fantastic. The plan has worked. And I also have wearing in column 14 because of huge. Now, I lead by 90. So if opponent doesn't bingo this turn, I should be able to start putting serious distance between myself and opponent. By which I mean that opponent will need more than just one bingo to catch me. So I've seen wearing in row B, column 14. Do I have any alternative bingos? I have no S for column 15, but an FS play, very unlikely, especially as a bingo. An O can also go in front of Lent, Olent, and Glent. I think that's it. And there's only one spot for my bingo in rows B in column 14, and I'm just wondering if wearing has an anagram. I don't think it does. Any other floaters to consider? What about XU? No, W doesn't go well with either of those tiles. So supposing both spots remain available, which is my preference? I think wearing takes an S, in which case column 14 would open up row O. But I think it's also going to score quite a bit more because the play gets doubled and I get the points for hug. 7 for hug, 4 for Lent. So 82 for wearing in... Oh, wow, an opponent bingos with both blanks. That's galling. So how does that change things? Well, I still have wearing in row B. But do I have anything through these floaters? Well, I don't have any ING plays. I would have twangier with a T in a different spot. I may have wearings onto the S, but I think wearing is a better play, scores more, and doesn't put a vowel above a triple, next to a triple word square. I'm going with this. Wow, what a grim pick. I was hoping to be putting blue sky between myself and opponent and hopefully drawing a blank. That's not happened, but I do still lead by 70. But this is a wide open board for bingos. Now I do have an F for going to the right of an I, but I don't have any bingos in that spot. And 31 points for opponent. So I don't have any plays, 4-letter plays in that spot. And I've also got an R for huger, but no E for RE. So time to stop feeling sorry for myself and to play through this. I have twerp on my rack. Does that play anywhere? Well, I could play twerps, but that's opening up row O. And some of this rack is pretty decent, IRST. If I played off just W and F, the rack leave is good. Anywhere for that. I do have an S for Kaiserin, but I don't have an O for Wafts. So I'm looking for WF spots, 12 minutes on my clock. I've got 4, but that doesn't even get doubled, so it doesn't feel best. Iwi is good. It would be nice to play through AM, but I can't get anything big tripled. Oh, I thought I had waif for a moment, but I would need an A. Wow. Well, let me see what Swift scores. 34 points. I think this is decent. I think this is decent. I need to keep scoring. My lead is only 40 points. PR is pretty handy. Yeah, and I need to draw vowels to take advantage of the column 15 openings, and I am getting rid of W and F and scoring decently. I'm going with this. Well, super non-bingo-y, but I do have a lead to hang on to, and I have a scoring tile in the J. I've no E for the R in the middle of column 15. I burnt my F, which could have scored well in column 15, but I don't think it was worth hanging on to. Now I have adjiver in row K onto this A. That will probably stay available. I also have JAI in column 13. My preference is to get rid of J and V if I can, and play off one of the I's. So a jiver achieves that end. So would jive onto an E, but no E's available. Opponent may be drawn to the F of Swift, especially if they have vowels they're looking to play off. 8 minutes on opponent's clock, 11 on mine. Oh, and another bingo for opponent. Good grief, look at this. I only lead by 20 points. So, what am I going to do? Opponent's opened up a super hot spot. Does that change my plans? I've still got a jiver. Interesting, a jiver sticks an A under this triple letter square, and there's still a Z to come and a Y. What about the triple word square at the bottom here? I could play Viper for 33, keeping hold of the J as a scoring tile. That's 33. I don't think I can play the J in this spot. Can I get a big tile doubled? P or V? And what about row O? No, not seeing anything. Well, I guess I have Via, but I want to play off 2 out of the 3 scoring tiles I have, so I am going with Viper for 33. Great, this looks a much more balanced rack. It's not bingo-y. But if I play the J next turn, I'll be leaving myself a really decent set of tiles, and I do have a 50-point lead. So where can my J play? Not at the top right. I have Joe on my rack. I'm not sure I've seen an E for a while. But, well, the blue tiles are mine, so I certainly have had a few during the game. 3 of them. Yeah, nowhere great for the J that I've spotted yet. Jow is quite nice. Scoring 30 points, not setting up anything massive for opponent. But is opponent about to lay down a third bingo? It wouldn't be the end for me if they did. Now, column 15, I have J-O-E. I have also got an R for huger. But I'm not seeing any J-E-R plays. That's a shame because I'm close to them. Joker, for example. Jiver. Japer. Now, what's opponent done? Great, just 23 points. That's not very many. So, what was my plan? It was Jow here for 20. Ooh, only 26. What does Joe score? 33. I think I prefer this. Even though the E helps this rackly. Let me count the remaining vowels. 11 out of 31. Ooh. E is pretty useful. Yeah, I'm going with Jow for 7 fewer points. I'm retaining an E for RE, and I've got the R for huger. But I'm also retaining 5 very bingo-y tiles. And look at columns 3 and 5. They are available for bingos, especially bingos which begin with a vowel. And look at row O, available for bingos ending ER. I am going with this. And I draw the Q. How wretched when you turn over just 2 tiles and you draw a real problem tile. Okay, but I do have an I to help offload it. I have cat in row F. Oh wow, 56 points for opponent. I lead by just 2 points. Wow, still 1S to come. So I have cat. I have caddy on my rack. 8 minutes on my clock. I don't have anything top right. Wow, if only I-ban was good, I would have Cade. I don't have any Q plays using the E. I absolutely need to play off the Q. So, is it just cat as a decent candidate play? I think it is. So, let me get this down. Okay, so cat has taken out the columns 3 and 5 opportunities for 7-letter bingos beginning with a vowel, but needs must, and I had the Q. So my lead just 30 points with opponent on turn. So what am I going to do with this rack? I don't have a bingo ending in an R or through a P or an I. Wow, I do have the tiles for over. Maybe I have a double-double. I have provide. Wow, double-double through that V. That would score handsomely. And maybe opponent will be drawn to column 15. So I think provide is the play. What if that's blocked? Gosh, remaining tiles do look bingo-y. I don't have anything beginning with A. So I'd be looking to score with the P. Nothing goes in front of ban. Now, where's opponent played Moit? Oh, fantastic. Absolutely marvellous stuff, because that means provide remains available. Look at this, provide for 52 points. Oh, wow, what a pick. I have picked up 6 consonants. But I do have this 55-point lead. Can I hang on? 8 tiles in the bag. And they're pretty bingo-y, apart from the last 2, U and Y. But provide has taken out the 7-letter lane in column 5 for bingos beginning with S. Row O is the super hot spot for bingos ending ER. And opponent could play quangos from the Q, I think. So what can I do? It's very hard for me to take out row O because I've only got 1 vowel. Yeah, and I don't have an R for going after the P, so I don't really have any column 5 plays, which are 4 letters long. Well, I guess I have penned and pent. I no longer have an R for huger, so I'm really limited in what I can score in column 15. I'd like to turn over tiles to expedite the end of the game, but I'm going to struggle. Maybe pent is the play. But that scores so little, opponent could catch me without bingoing. I can't score off the J or the Q. And even off the F, the best I can manage is fem. So I have vend on my rack. And vent. Just nowhere for them. Opponent needs to provide floaters for me. 7 vowels left out of 15. 27 points for opponents. Good score, good play. Wow, what do I do? The U and the Y still available. A looks useful. The trouble with playing Pent is that opponent may make a 5-letter play ending in S, getting the Y doubled. Plus, I come back to this point that the score is just dismal. 6 minutes on my clock. What about playing Doff? 20 points. Preserving my precious vowel. Interesting. 20 points is decent. If opponent doesn't bingo, that could be significant. Yeah, I do like the idea of hanging on to my E, but Doff is only one tile. It does nothing about the V. It does nothing about the T's. I'd is good. So what about this? What about Divvy? 20 points again and a much better rack leave. Only one more T to come and duplicate T, not tragic. M a good scoring tile. 5 minutes on my clock. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other candidate plays. I am going with this. Great, I draw the Y, which is a scoring tile. And the S, I've just drawn the S. Fantastic. I'm not out of the woods. There's still row O. I'm not sure about row J. Oh my word. Great bingo for opponents. 62 points. I trail by 14. The bag is empty. Opponent's got double 80. 5 minutes on my clock. Wow, brilliant bingo by opponent. So, what can I do with this rack? A Pent would not have blocked that. Opponent's play has blocked the S going on the end of cat. Huge only takes... Well, it takes an R. Does it take an S? Don't think so. 4 minutes on my clock. Firstly, is opponent going out with double AD? I note that they've got Doff for 20, which is a lot. They would have data. I'm not seeing an out, but I don't want to spend too long looking for one because I need to find good scores for myself. Row M for me is, I think I need to play off M and Y. That may not be possible. So it is possible. I can play E-miss for 27 points, but am I going out with TNT? I don't think so. I think I need to assume opponent isn't going out. Wow. Oh, outlearned is also good. So how does that change the complexion of things? I could play Ment. Opponent can't go out with a... Oh, they can. They can play Panda. That doesn't work. I need to go out, assume opponent can't go out, and plan an out in 2, which scores well. So what about playing my for 32, and then I'm setting up tents and outlearns. I quite like this, just because the score is so big. I am going with this. Okay, is that going to be enough? I lead by 18. I think if opponent has got an out in 1, they win. But if they haven't, I've got a hope. Now, 20 for opponent. Wow, unbelievable, because I have got tents. 2 minutes on my clock. I've got tents and outlearns. Do I have anything better? Oh my word. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything better than this. So, here we go. Tenths for 19. Bang! And the final score, 440 for opponent, 459 for me, a winning margin of 19 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Oh my word, what a game. That my play at the end was absolutely crucial. Let's see if it really was. It certainly felt so. Now, it was me to go first, and I had Culex. Great start. Missed bingo. Opponent has Ooglied and Ghoulies. They play Hug. Interesting, and that opening play was the one which opponent spent 5 minutes on, and then, well, I guess it's because they had the blank and maybe they were just trying really hard to find the bingos, and these ones eluded them. Now, no bingo for me. So, what do I do here? I play Orlick for 8. Yeah, there were 8 more points on offer, but look at the demerits. Duplicate Eye with Lahua. Although that is quite nice, through EH. And a U keep with Glare in, but I don't think Orlick was terrible. So opponent still with the blank. Missed bingo, Eulogies. Difficult one to see with 3 O's. But this is why they're playing off just 2 tiles for a lowly score. They're trying to maximise the value of their rack leave. Now, my rack, I saw Kieran's and Huge and Sinkia. Well, I think I saw all of these, but Kaiserin is my preference. Opponent's rack. Missed bingo, 5 Joas. Wow, so missed bingos on all of their opening 3 moves. But again, a nice play, balancing the rack and keeping the blank. My rack. So I play Lent for 12, A11. Well, it's the same spot in turn, but opening row A, so I prefer my play. Opponent with both blanks. Now does bingo with rebates, and it's game on, just 8 points between us. However, I have a bingo, wearing and wearing slower down, both considered, and I take a bingo's lead. Opponent plays I. And yeah, this is where I play Swift for 34. Oh, wow. I saw that I had Fit in column 15, but of course I had the S as well, so I could have played Fits for 45. So which is better, Fits for 45 or Swift for 34? Well, they both burn the S. So does the W damage the rack by 11 points? No. So how much does W damage PR by? It's irrelevant what PR is worth, but I suspect it is worth probably 3 or 4. I think the W damages it by between 5 and 10, which means that these moves, taking into account score and rack leave, probably are within 5 points of each other. I know that may sound like trying to justify Swift, which I'm not trying to do. I'm just trying to assess whether Fitz was a significantly better move. I think these moves are very close. Opponent's rack. Great bingo with terrains, which of course would not have played after Fitz. Oh, wow. Oh, look at this. Jivia playable in column 8. That's definitely a miss. Ouch. So I considered... Oh, wow. Jiva also plays. What am I thinking of? Wow, that's crazy. I saw Adjiva and Jive. No idea why I didn't see Jiva through that, or indeed Jivia through the E, but I didn't. So I went with Viper. Opponent's rack. Bance, that's one of the new words that has just come in. B14. Would have played through AN. Instead, opponent plays Bow for 23. Now I'm stuck with the J, or I have the J, which I wouldn't have had if I'd played Jivia. And I played Jow for 26, but G15. Oh, wow, Jared playable. So I did have a JER play. So another poor play, but Jow did have some merit. Now opponent plays Chiz, which they wouldn't have had after Jared. So I have very much been the author of my misfortune in this game. I play Cat D1, caddy playable underneath Jow. But either of these plays is fine. I think Cat may be slightly less volatile since there is a U unplayed. My opponent plays Moit, and now things start to look up because I have got Provide for 52. Wow, opponent not far off a bingo. Plays Ged. And now this is really tricky because although I've got a small lead, it's really clunky as a rack. So I played Divvy for 20 and I like that. And this was such a blow at the time. I was not expecting a bingo. It's a great bingo, and it gives opponents a 14-point lead with just 3 tiles on their rack, and I've got a solitary vowel. So, what gives M2 maint and, well, maint and outlearnt. That's nice. But is it enough? Yeah, it may be. I don't know. And then there's my, which was my play for just 3 more points. I don't think maint gives opponent an out. So could I have scored more with ST than I did with tents? Well, opponent may have been able to block tents, although I think it would have been difficult. No, I think they could have just played Dan. Yeah, it's possible opponent could have blocked tents, in which case maint would have been better because I am surely going out in multiple spots around the board with ST. So I play my. Opponent does not have an out. They play ads. And here we go. All 3 of these plays are in the same spot, putting an S on the end of outlearn. And they all win. So there we go. What a game. 440 for opponent, 459 for me. Less than 20 points between us, and both of us well over 400 points. And this game just illustrates the ebbs and flows that are present within a single game of Scrabble. I got off to a good start with Culex and was about to play Waring for a significant 150-point lead when opponent plays rebates. Both blanks have gone, and opponent is then breathing down my neck, and they get down 2 subsequent bingos with trains and outlearns. So moving into the pre-end game, I am trailing with a tricky rack, but fortunately my got me out of jail and I was able to squeak the win. But super exciting stuff. So many thanks to opponent for a good battle. I hope you enjoyed watching that game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.